almost didn't make it. I almost didn't last. Why does the week go by so slow, the weekend so fast? But luckily the days come to take my cares away. It's not Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. That's right, it's Friday. Friday. Tonight I'll party with my friends. Friday. Friday. Today I know the weekend. So I'll get out of bed and be to work on time. I'll give this day to the company, the next 2 days of mine. And when my day's over and the final work hour's passed, I'll go home, have a shot of Cuervo to the boss who can kiss my Friday. Friday. Tonight I'll party with my friends. Friday. Friday. Today I know the weekends. Friday. Friday.
Yeehaw! It's Friday, bitches. Enjoy yourselves.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Gonna get up into the mid to upper 40s, maybe even to the 50s, mid 50s on Sunday, and then up into the 60s.
That's what I'm talking
on
about.
Monday
That's
and
what
Tuesday.
I'm talking about.
All this snow that we got earlier this week gonna be gone.
Good thing we didn't even bother to shovel because
I did yesterday when I got home just to walk, just to get it, just to.
My husband was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I made that choice because we walked the dogs last
driveway is
night.
completely
It's
clean.
everything.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so good.
A little bit of 311 off the special menu there for a good friend of mine who's listening in New Hampshire on her birthday. Just downloaded the app for the first time ever and is listening. My friend Chakas, who I grew up with, spent many a good times in high school doing all sorts of things we shouldn't have been doing. But she's having a birthday today and a little bit of a rough go of it. And so some 311 for her. And happy birthday, Chakas. I love you and I miss you. We used to work at a music store together. Strawberries, music, movies, and more.
What was the more?
At the Nashua Mall and Plaza, posters and T-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
I was her manager. I was the assistant manager. And I don't know how the hell a 19-year-old idiot like me got an assistant manager position.
Because nobody would work there.
I think the guy's name that was the manager was Steve. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But, I mean, this was 30 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And I actually caught Chakas one night. I was closing and she was working. She was the employee, and you know you're supposed to do occasional like checks to make sure people aren't stealing. And I caught her stealing CDs. And
Chakas.
Yeah, and rather than like turn her in and get her in trouble, I formed a plan where we would both steal CDs and we wouldn't rat each other out, and so that's what we did.
Brian.
Yeah, that place closed down several years later.
because the employees were embezzling.
We weren't embezzling. We were just taking some CDs. That's all.
Borrowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they call that.
Fond memories. Lots of fond memories of our high school years. But happy birthday, Chakas. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We've got a lot to get to today. Doc will join us later on to talk NASCAR racing. Bad news, happy music. We'll get to our check-ins. You can find all of our information online at rockmornings.com. If you want to get in touch with us, you can listen to the show live on the website. You can also take a look and listen and subscribe to our daily podcast. Also, register to win date night, courtesy of Saxon Hall in Brownsville and Rocky Rococo's in Eau Claire, plus Micon Cinemas and Ward Market
Pizza
Cinema.
and movies for free. Just
Two
for
winners.
clicking.
Two winners.
Clicking. That's
We'll
it.
get to some Red Hot Chili Peppers here in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. The Pope, weak and breathless, but still delivering an audio message, thanking people for their prayers for his recovery, and a remarkable audio message that was broadcast yesterday, the first public sign of life from the 88-year-old Pope since he was hospitalized 3 weeks ago with double pneumonia. Voice very feeble, discernible through his labored breathing, and his native Spanish, recorded on Thursday from the hospital and then broadcast to his followers in St. Peter's Square, who had gathered for the nightly recitation of the Rosary Prayer. He said, quote, "I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your prayers for my health. From the square, I accompany you from here. May God bless you and the Virgin protect you. Thank you." So, yeah, no real updates on his health, but
Making a statement for the first time since the 14th of February.
4 Wisconsin voters whose ballots were not counted in the November presidential election have initiated a class action lawsuit seeking $175,000 in damage. The voters among the 193 in Madison whose ballots were misplaced by the city clerk and not discovered until weeks after the election. Not counting the ballots obviously did not affect the result of any of the races. The Wisconsin Elections Commission investigated at the time but did not determine whether Madison clerk Maribeth Witzel-Bell failed to comply with state law or abused her discretion. She didn't notify the Elections Commission of the problem until December, almost a month and a half after the election and after the results were certified on November 29th. The goal is to reinforce and strengthen the right to vote in Wisconsin, said the attorney Jeff Mandel, who is general counsel of Law Forward, which filed the claims against the city of Madison and Dane County on Thursday. Regardless of if they impacted the elections or not, you still want to know that your votes were counted.
Absolutely, you want to know. I don't know if you get a payday for that, but...
And you also want to know how they got misplaced.
Right. There has to be...
Did you throw them away because you're lazy? Did you throw them away because you thought they were votes against a candidate that...
Were they thrown away or were they put in a box in the corner? Where were they?
Well, right. But, I mean, you know, look, you're paid to do a job, and when it comes to the elections, people are pretty particular about that stuff. So, yeah, I can see why they'd be upset. But
there are 4 pieces of paper in some desk drawer? Or?
Well, this is just 4 of the 193 people whose ballots did not get counted. These 4 people are filing a class action lawsuit. There's still another 189 people that are not part of the lawsuit yet. Representative of Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District, Republican Derek Van Orden, under fire for a message that he sent to a veteran and a former VA employee. This has since gone viral. You've probably seen a lot of people on social media sharing this one. It shows the representative threatening to report the man to the Department of Government Efficiency. In the letter, or the message, Van Orden said, quote, I am a member of Congress on the VA committee. I have absolutely no say in the employment status of any individual in the executive branch. However, I will be referring you to DOGE, as it seems that at 1346 on a Monday, you should have been working for veterans, not posting trash about your boss, President Trump. There needs to be accountability now. That message was sent to Tony Ruiz, who served 2 years overseas in Germany, driving Abrams battle tanks. He describes himself as a proud Army veteran. Ruiz says, quote, he bullied me to the sense where he admitted, I'm going to turn you into Doge and get you fired. The VA had hired Ruiz in February of last year as a veteran service representative. Almost exactly 1 year later, he was fired. Ruiz continued saying, to make this story even more tragic, veteran working for the VA, but I'm actually 80% disabled, so they fired someone who's literally disabled, who served this country and would have died for this country. Ruiz saying that roughly a week after his termination, he reached out to the Congressman, Derek Van Orden, asking him if he cared about veterans. Ruiz sent the message after he'd been fired, so when Representative Van Orden said, it seems that at 1346 on a Monday, you should have been working for veterans, not posting trash about your boss, President Trump. Ruiz was actually not working because he was fired. Said he only reached out to Van Orden because his behavior in congressional meetings stood out to him. He's always yelling at the VA guys. He's got a loud mouth. He strikes me as either he's really passionate and he really loves the veterans, right? But Ruiz felt that Van Orden's response was the opposite. Meanwhile, the president has signed another executive order, did this yesterday, establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. Is this so it doesn't end up in a landfill like that stupid idiot who threw away his hard drive and lost $8 billion in Bitcoins?
I'm not sure you can.
I don't know about. I
away.
don't do any of this, so I'm like so out of the loop when it comes to Bitcoins. The announcement came on the eve of a crypto summit that Trump is scheduled to host later today at the White House with industry leaders. The order says, just as it is in our country's interest to thoughtfully manage national ownership and control of any other resource, our nation must harness, not limit, the power of digital assets for our prosperity. The Bitcoin in the reserve will come from the assets held by the U.S. Department of Treasury that were seized in court proceedings or paid in civil penalties to executive agencies. And Jack Daniels, much like the vodka. Remember the Russian vodka?
Yes.
Well, they're pulling it off the shelves in Canada. Don't you already pay for it? Like, you have to pay a distributor.
I don't know how that works.
Right? Like,
I don't know how
Jack Daniels makes it. They ship it up there. somewhere along the line, somebody gets paid, right? Because you can't just like put it on the shelves and then the store sells it.
Well,
and
unless they return it, I guess.
Canada pulling American-made spirits off its shelves following President Trump's implementation of the tariffs on Canadian imports. The CEO of Brown-Forman, who makes Jack Daniel's whiskey and a bunch of other liquors, blasted the move as disproportionate. Said that's worse than a tariff because it's literally taking your sales away. Provinces across Canada have now pulled American-made spirits, beer, and wine off their shelves. The Liquor Control Board of Ontario said in a statement it's pushing shoppers to seek Canadian-made alternatives and that U.S. products will remain off shelves until it's directed by the government to resume normal business. Lawson Whiting, I think is the guy's name, the guy from Brown-Forman, noted that the Canadian accounts are just 1% of the company's total sales, so the company can withstand the losses. Mm-hmm. But we did that with, was it Russian vodka? A couple of years ago?
Well,
we were taking it off the shelves.
Will this be the same for Mexico? I mean, will they...
He actually, he's awaiting a response from Mexico, which was also hit with a 25% across-the-board tariff to see how the move affects business down there. But that accounts for 7% of Brown-Forman's total sales, so that one's a little more impactful.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's the latest in the world we're living in. We got sports coming up in just a bit. Also some Red Hot Chili Peppers after the funeral portrait.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Chili's giving it away on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Bucks are off till tomorrow when they host Orlando. That's a 7 p.m. tip for Milwaukee. I think they're going for their 5th win in a row. Been on fire since the All-Star break. Number 12, Wisconsin. Finishing up their regular season on Saturday at noon against Penn State. That game on Peacock. Then, of course, the Big Ten tournament and then March Madness. Selection Sunday on the 16th. That's next Sunday.
Yeah, my husband yesterday told me that their work, like similar to you, because you're going to Eau Claire to do that kind of watch party.
March Madness at the VFW, yeah.
So tell me about that quick. That's the 21st, right?
So Friday, March 21st from 11 until 3, you can join me for a Simpsons skip day at the VF Dub on Star Ave in Eau Claire as we hang out, watch basketball, drink beers, and give away swag. We're going to have tickets for Rockfest. We're going to have T-shirts. I'm going to be buying beers, and we're going to be watching all the games. They're going to have all the games on all the TVs.
Yeah, basically, he told me the same thing last night for his work, only it's Thursday, the 20th. They've got like a late afternoon skip thing where their work is organizing a let's go watch games, let's do bracket, have prizes and fun and shoot some pool and have some beers. So it's kind of like your skip day.
Sergei Bobrovsky of the Panthers making a strong case for his 3rd Vezina trophy. He made 16 saves last night for his 2nd shutout in 4 games and his 4th shutout of the season in a 3-0 win over Columbus. This win for Bobrovsky was the 423rd of his career. That moves the 36-year-old into a tie with Tony Esposito for 10th on the NHL's career list.
Wow.
Better yet, the 14-year veteran got to the 23rd win of his career in 742 career games. That was 144 fewer than Esposito's 886. Bobrovsky moving up the list. In the NFL, Cincinnati Bengals All-Pro defensive end Trey Hendrickson, who led the NFL with 17.5 sacks last season, has now been granted permission by the franchise to seek a trade. What the hell is going on in Cincinnati? Boy, if I was Joe Burrow, I'd be like, I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere where I'm not going to get killed. Obviously, this guy's on the other side of the ball, but they're just, I don't know what they're doing in Cincinnati. They got the quarterback, and they're just, everything else is not good right now in Cincy. I mean, they got some great pieces with Chase and Higgins, but boy.
Man, I've always liked them, the Bengals, because their helmets.
The old striped helmets?
Yes, were so cool. I liked the Bengals a long time ago because of that.
Jaguars are trading wide receiver Christian Kirk to the Houston Texans for a 2026 7th-round pick. Jaguars plan to release him when the new league year begins on Wednesday, but they instead found a trade partner within their own division. And Austin Cindric docked 50 points and fined $50,000 by NASCAR earlier this week for intentionally spinning Ty Dillon in last weekend's Cup Series race at the Circuit of the Americas. Dillon moved Cindric up the track early in the race, and Cindric quickly retaliated by hooking Dillon in the right rear, spinning out Dillon's car, and now Austin Cindric is getting some penalties courtesy of NASCAR. We'll talk more racing with Doc just after 8 o'clock. Going to get to music from Sleep Theory in a bit. Got a request from Tom, wants to hear some Rat, Round and Round. I can play that.
What's up with Tom? Just wants to hear it.
He says, good morning, Brian and Gene. Will you play Round and Round by Rat? Have a great weekend. Tragic news on that boat. Not Rat related, but I mean, sort of 80s glam band hair metal.
Gosh.
Faster Pussycat. Tame Downey, the lead singer, his like fiance fell off the boat.
Yeah, and I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with that.
Okay.
Just that, so they were fighting prior to her disappearance.
I saw a video that he got on stage right before she fell off the boat and had made some comments or something. I don't know if it was related to their argument, but...
Well, supposedly they had an argument. She typically was not a drinker, I guess, but had some cocktails, and it was unclear whether she jumped on or
just lost her balance.
Yes, or an accident. But they knew right away that she had gone overboard, and they attempted to send a...
I started to see rumors about it the night that it happened, shortly after, the incident occurred. But yeah, because some of the bands that were also on that boat were posting, like, not sure if the rumors are true and hope to God they're not, and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, God.
What a crazy mix of bands, too. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's... I think the
Adam
one band...
Ant and
I think the one band was Crossfade or something. I can't remember, but it was... It was
a very interesting...
An eclectic mix?
Yes.
Tom, I will get to your Rat here in just a couple minutes along with that Sleep Theory. Stick around.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Oh, you know who you are. You've been doing your daily action, putting lots of overtime. You need some time off satisfaction. Just think how tough it's been. You've been putting out all that labor. If you use your wit, you can get out quick and do yourself a favor. Friday in effect, and you're pretty beat, I bet. It's been one tough week, you've hit your peak, and you've earned your paycheck. But now this week is over, and it's a little fun you're seeking. Your grin is wide, and I know why. Look out, here come the weekend. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That weekend's gonna be a monster, y'all.
Requested Rats for Tom. Wanted to hear Round and Round, so that's what we just heard. You're very welcome, Tom. Thanks for the text. Weekend is here, and weather conditions improving throughout the area. Looks like on Sunday and Monday, we're going to get a lot of sunshine, high temps in the mid-50s on Sunday, and maybe into the mid-60s by Monday.
Yeah, it should be dry conditions for the most part, and maybe some sun. I mean, that's the deal.
If you want to stay inside and watch television all weekend, you can certainly do that. Tonight on CBS, it's NCIS Sydney. Over on Shudder tonight, I know my wife's going to be watching this when she gets home. The 7th season premiere of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, Darcy the Mail Girl, and her big breasts. Today on Netflix, the streaming premiere of Plankton, the movie. Also on Netflix, a new Charles Manson special. It's called The Chaos, The Manson Murders. The premiere of that series on Netflix today. Also on Netflix today, the 8th season finale of Love is Blind. And on Max today, the streaming premiere of Heretic, the movie starring Hugh Grant.
Yes.
Where he invites a couple of Latter-day Saint gals into his house. And then
there's that
things
maze
don't go
thing
so well.
in the basement.
There's all sorts of stuff in the basement. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It was creepy.
You
weird.
liked it?
It was good, yeah. Saturday, tomorrow on the CW, I Am Raquel Welch.
Would you just keep an eye out for this woman? She's about, yay high, and she doesn't swing her arms when she walks.
What do you mean?
Like this. What the hell is that?
Are you making fun of my dancing? Aren't you Raquel Welch?
You know
who I am. I don't move my arms when I dance. That's my signature. Now what are you doing?
Nothing. I just wasn't moving my arms. That's it. You're going down.
Cat fights.
Saturday on the C-Dub, I Am Raquel Welch. A special about her life and her career, and probably a little bit of a tidbit or two in there about her time on Seinfeld. Didn't move her arms. Saturday night on Lifetime, I Was Octomom, the Nadia Suleiman story.
Oh, boy.
All you ever wanted to know about Octomom. In vitro, getting pregnant, 8 kids, doing porn, the whole 9 yards. Lips and fillers and all. Oof. Saturday night on SNL, Lady Gaga is the hostess and the musical guest. She's got a new album out today. It's called Mayhem. She's got a duo with Bruno Mars on there. Also, new music today from your guy, Jason Isbell. Foxes in the Snow. It's his first solo acoustic album. Jason Isbell. But yeah, Gaga will be the hostess and the musical guest on SNL.
That should be funny.
Tomorrow night. Sunday on ABC, the 23rd season premiere of American Idol. Obviously, it's been on for a lot longer than that. It was originally on Fox, but since it moved to ABC, it's now 23 seasons of Idol. Sunday night on Showtime, Yellow Jackets, new episode of that. Discovery Channel on Sunday night, 18th season premiere of Naked and Afraid.
No, thank you.
Sunday night on HBO, The White Lotus, and also on HBO on Sunday night, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. If you're looking to go out and check out movies, things that are in theaters this weekend.
Good stuff.
There's a couple of new releases. One of them looks kind of interesting. It's called Mickey 17. It's rated R. It stars Robert Pattinson as a disposable employee who is sent to colonize an ice world. Whenever he dies, a new version of him is generated with most of his memories intact.
You're an expendable. You're here to be expended.
Every time I died, they just printed me out again. Everyone asks, what's it feel like to die?
So is he like, he's a real person?
Mark Ruffalo is in that one, along with Toni Collette and Steve Yeun.
It's not just his memories or anything. It's like he's really regenerated as a...
So it's sort of like, what was the movie, Moon? With, what the hell's his name? The dancing guy. The guy that dances.
I don't know what you're talking about. So is it like 9 lives? Like he has like...
he just keeps they keep replacing him with a new one. And the new one has the same memories, but like he's up there in unfavorable conditions. So he's subject to death by a number of ways. And so every time, and then eventually like the bodies start piling up and he discovers what's really going on. Anyways, it's called Mickey 17. It's rated R and it's in theaters this weekend. Also in theaters this weekend, rated PG-13, Queen of the Ring.
You will do what I say, or you will find yourself cleaning toilets in some arena after my show comes through.
Mom, all the tickets you two ever sold had your name on them, not his.
Biographical drama about a female wrestler named Mildred Burke. She became the first $1 million female athlete in history. So it's based on a true story. It's Queen of the Ring. It's rated PG-13. You've got Walton Goggins, Martin Kove, and Josh Lucas in that. Queen of the Ring. And that's what's on TV and in theaters this weekend.
Sunny today, 40. Check this out. Breezy tomorrow, 40, mid-40s. 51, we spring forward. Don't forget about that because it is daylight savings time. So we spring forward Saturday into Sunday morning, so you'll lose that hour. Warm on Monday. Sunshine. That's what we're looking at. 51, mid-40s, 52 all next week. Looks really, really good leading into St. Patrick's Day.
I don't plan on going to the movies this weekend, but I do plan on binging more of Daredevil. I'm almost done with season 1. Two more seasons.
You'd already seen that, though, right?
Yeah, I'm just going back and revisiting it. I tend to do this when new seasons come out, and there's a reboot, if you will, of the series on Disney Plus now, so I'm getting caught up on what happened in the first 3 seasons. So, Jackal now, the Lumberjack.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
The Lumberjack. On Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Today is Friday, Fish Fry Day.
Ooh.
The first Friday after the start of Lent. Nationwide, nationally, internationally is known as Friday Fish Fry Day. Obviously, we tend to do that every Friday here in Wisconsin.
Are you a tartar guy? Tartar sauce?
Oh, yeah. What else would I be?
Well, I'm just wondering if you do.
I mean,
Some
I don't
people
go crazy with it.
Don't dip, but you dip?
Yeah, I mean, if it's fried, I will dip. But usually if it's broiled or baked, then I tend to leave it alone. Today's also Cereal Day. National Flapjack Day. I'll be in an hour. I just started making flapjacks. Well, the station's off the air, EP. Well, I just told you I just started making flapjacks. Okay, so, well, we're not putting anything on the air. I know, but I just started the griddle to make flapjacks.
My favorite part of that story that happened, that actually happened to us.
Let's explain to people who don't know what the hell we're talking about, and there's probably a lot of them. We had an engineer years ago, and I love him to death. His name was EP. And we had a major meltdown here in the studio one morning where things were needed an engineer's touch. It was not something that I could fix. And it was before his working hours, but it was after he had woken up. So I called him and I said, hey, dude, I'm like, this is happening. I need you to come in and fix it. He said, well, I'm in the middle of making flapjacks, so you'll have to wait until
my favorite part of that story is not even the fact that he wasn't responding to the emergency, because he had a kid, he had to get him fed and get him to school. Yeah. I understand that. My favorite part is that he called them flapjacks and not pancakes.
Yeah.
I mean, he really said, I'm in the middle of making flapjacks.
Right.
And you and I were flabbergasted. It was like,
who the hell calls them flapjacks?
Was it more impressive that he said no, or more impressive that he said flapjacks?
Yeah. So National Flapjack Day, National Cereal Day, National Friday Fish Fry Day, also National Tartar Sauce Day. Go figure. Makes sense with
there you go.
And it's also National Employee Appreciation Day. And you're going to be shocked to find out that a new survey revealed that only 19% of people said their company was planning to do something to thank them or recognize the staff members today.
Greetings, worker number 7365928. You are a valued employee. The company would like to thank you for your years of hard work by offering you a 10% discount on any items in the markdown rack on this special day. We appreciate your dedication. Happy Employee Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the first Friday. So it's the first Friday in March.
Happy National Employee Appreciation Day. 91% of people in the survey said they'd appreciate it and might like it if their boss was a little more, did a little more. Thoughtful, caring, and smart were the top words people used to describe how that would come across. The top things people would like to get for Employee Appreciation Day include free food, a nice card, and some cold hard cash.
I suppose.
Employee Appreciation Day. Only 19% of people said that their company was planning on doing something to thank or recognize staff members today.
By the way, that first Friday in March was just established in 95. It was a guy who
For National Employee Appreciation Day?
Yes.
93% of people in the survey consider CEOs who recognize their employees on Employee Appreciation Day to be better leaders. And 74% of those people in the survey would consider looking for a new job if they weren't recognized for Employee Appreciation Day.
How many?
Three quarters. 74% would consider looking for a new job. Dude,
what?
It's just another day. I'm not getting recognized any day. The only time you get recognized is for bad stuff. You never get the whole good stuff. You always get the bad stuff.
Okay.
Step into my office.
Consider looking for?
Close the door behind you.
I consider it every morning. Does that mean anything? I would consider looking for a new job. That's
wouldn't?
Called eyes open and realizing it's another work day. Everyone considers it.
Man, if this guy doesn't come in here and recognize me for National Employee, I'm looking for a new job. I'm out of here.
Considering it.
How is that any different than any other day of the week?
Exactly. That is dumb.
Yeah. 74% of people in a survey
would
said
consider
that
it.
They would consider looking for a new job if they weren't recognized for Employee Appreciation. So are you getting recognized all the other days of the year, and this one day that's devoted to you, you don't get recognized, so that's it? That's the straw that broke the camel's back?
I'm curious. Did the people know, taking the survey, that this was a day, or did they get informed of it as they were being asked the question?
You know what my boss doesn't have on his team's calendar? National Employee Appreciation Day.
I'm putting it on right now.
He doesn't give a rat's ass.
I'd consider
the appreciation comes after all of the negative stuff. The negative stuff comes first, and then, I love your show and it's great and whatever. Oh yeah, thanks, appreciate that. You could have led with that. Yeah.
By the way, okay. I'd consider it.
Interesting though, 98% of people in the survey believe that companies that recognize employees for Employee Appreciation Day specifically would be more successful. And similarly, 98% of those surveyed believe that companies that recognize employees for Employee Appreciation Day have a better chance of making it into the Fortune 500 list. Well, we're not trying to do that, but...
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to put this on my calendar. I didn't even know it was a thing. Did you?
No.
Okay.
Whatever. It's just a Friday in March.
Exactly. The first Friday in March, apparently.
So have some Friday fish fry and some tartar sauce, and hopefully it's catered by the company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it doesn't start till 11. Well, then I guess I'm not getting any.
I was looking at fish fries besides Catholicism, obviously, playing a part in it, right?
Yeah.
And our abundance of fresh water.
It's a good way to add variety to your diet, too. I mean,
And
like if
Wisconsin's
you're not a big
abundance
fish eater.
freshwater fish from the Great Lakes and rivers, obviously making it a natural choice for Friday meals. But also, apparently, it was a big deal during Prohibition. Taverns started serving fish fry, and
way to
that's
get
how it
people to
started.
come in,
Yeah. So there you go.
3 days grace in just a couple of minutes. If you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
I think all of us can understand the horror of your dog getting off the leash and going for a jaunt.
Like taking off, and you're chasing them down a 4-lane highway trying to get cars to stop because it's trying to eat the tires and nobody's stopping, and you're running up and down, and then your family's coming with the van and you're trying to tackle the dog in the middle of the highway like that.
Yeah. At that point, you give up all concern of how you look in public. It's not even a thought.
No.
Because your only focus is getting the stupid dog back in the vehicle.
So dumb.
Or back on the leash or whatever it is. We got into it one time with Ollie, and she just took off like a rocket.
I remember.
Running straight flat out. There was no sense in chasing her because we weren't going to catch her. My wife's freaking out. I'm like, we just got to go home and hope someone calls us. And that's what we did. That wasn't the only time either. There was another time when she got off and it was like, I don't know, kind of dusk. And she's prancing around like a friggin' deer. The way she hopped. She'd get so fast and she'd get so zoomy that she would hop. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like a deer prancing in the woods. It's like somebody's going to shoot my stupid dog.
Winnie would get off her leash, run around the neighborhood, but she always came back. But that foster dog, Pepsi, is the one I'm talking about. And we had people they were coming to our house to adopt her, and the shelter of which we were the foster parents were also on their way. So that we have two people on their way to our house, and this dog gets loose, and my entire family is on a 4-lane highway trying to get this dog, who was then going to go to its... And they took her. We got her. Pepsi was her name. And the people that took her was like, she's such a great dog. Yeah. She slept all the way home.
Yeah, because she was running around like an idiot in the traffic. Yeah, well, this dog got loose. Her name is Molly, and she is a 7-pound pink-dyed poodle. Apparently the owner of the dog dyed it with some vegan dye, whatever.
Easy to find.
It actually worked out. Like, you look at it, you're like, okay, that's such a dumb thing, right? Like, dyeing your dog pink. Leave the dog alone, all right? The dog doesn't want to be dyed pink. But it actually kind of helped, because it helped the police officers find this dog and track it while it got into an icy pond. Molly, wiggling free of her leash earlier in the day, ran across a very busy road, going up and down the banks of a river. Rescuers said that she was like chasing cotton candy.
7 pounds and fast. It was like chasing cotton candy. He took off for us for a good hour, up and down the riverbank.
She gave us a swim for our money. She was a bike ride away from a triathlon.
We were preparing for the worst, but we were so hopeful.
Jumped into the freezing cold river earlier this week. The dog's named Molly, owner using vegan hair dye to make her hot pink, which made it easier to spot the dog, which was good. It still took 4 hours to catch the dog. Apparently, it swam to like an island that was in this river. Police decided to call the fire department, which launched 2 boats to navigate the river. Firefighters from 2 different departments working together to finally get a hold of Molly. It took roughly 4 hours, 2 boats, 8 firefighters in the water, and a heat-sensing camera to find her in the brush on the island. Another rescuer said, we were preparing for the worst, but we were so hopeful for a positive outcome. This stupid dog.
That stupid dog.
Molly, cold but unharmed, returned to her owners. They said they were grateful for the work of the first responders in the community.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And perhaps the pink dye helped out.
They need to do something.
Oh, you got to show up with some pizzas and something. Something. That was in New Jersey. Also in New Jersey, about 45 minutes south of where Molly got loose, a police officer in Bridgewater pulled a guy from a burning car earlier this week, and the chest cam footage is pretty intense.
Come here. I have in Trabant, working fire.
What's in the tanker?
Nothing. It's empty right now. But there was a diesel kerosene mix in it last night.
Can I go up to it?
You can go up to it. I just don't know if it's going to be...
This guy was trapped in his car unconscious. About 2 a.m, ran into the back of an empty tanker truck after leaving a gas station. Guy was driving a Hyundai Elantra.
Oh, my gosh.
Exiting the gas station, crashed his vehicle into the back of this Freightliner tanker truck, causing both vehicles to catch fire. The guy's whole entire hood is like up in flames, right? The whole entire front of the car. And the cop runs up there, the door's open, and the guy's completely unconscious, and he just grabs him and pulls him out of the car.
From the accident.
Yeah.
That's what made him, okay.
Yeah, crazy. Officer Noah Alat, who was working in the area, jumping into action, arrived on scene, pulled Della Ventura out of the car. Members of the fire departments in the area, paramedics, members of the police squads, rescue squads, all there to provide aid. Apparently, the guy's going to be okay. Non-life-threatening injuries. Cause of the crash remaining under investigation. No charges filed yet, but this guy ran his car into the back of an empty freight truck and caught fire. So did the freight truck, and unconscious, could have burned to death. This cop, body cam footage, the whole 9 yards.
I watched some body cam footage yesterday.
Yeah.
That was, it was down south. I don't know if it was Florida or not, but it was a cop driving down the road and a young man, 12, 13, young boy, running up to the car, waving his hands like this. And he's like, my mom had a seizure and she drove the car into the pond. He had gotten out of the car. It was totally submerged. The cop swims out there and can't get the doors open, so swims back to his car, gets one of those window things.
Yeah, the window breaker.
Finally gets her out of the car, and she wasn't breathing. They did CPR. Eventually, but she made it. But it was so intense and dramatic. And the whole time, this little boy's watching it happen and can't get her out of the car. And it was something.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, a new part-time job opportunity. We'll tell you about that in just a few.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Got a text from Ned about employee appreciation. Said, I worked at a company where I was salaried. 1 year, I worked 3 months for free, given the overtime and all. The owner took the managers to Vegas as a thank you for a great year. The rest of us got a kick in the nuts for all of our hard work. Said, I'm still a little sore about that one. Boy, does that sound like a familiar story. Thanks for the text, Ned. National Employee Appreciation Day. If you're looking for a part-time job,
to
earn a few extra bucks,
okay,
and you want something really easy,
is this driving food around?
Nope.
Is this a DoorDash thing?
Watching movies.
That's easy.
ESA Doctors is an organization that helps people with issues related to emotional support animals. ESA, emotional support animals, and they want to pay you $1,000 to watch movies about pets. If you're the winner of the contest. If you get the gig, you'll be watching 5 movies about pets and their owners over a 72-hour period. That's
like sad movies where the dog dies?
Some of them kind of, yeah. They will document your reactions.
I cry. That's what's going to happen.
And create a blog post about how Hollywood portrays animals' effects on the mental well-being of humans. They pick the movies, but they are open to suggestions. They did list several possibilities, including All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Charlie, will I ever see you again?
Sure. Sure you will, kid. You know, goodbyes aren't forever.
Then, goodbye, Charlie.
Dude, I don't know, man. Seasonal depression just got real bad. Hey, I saw something the other day about it was a sad dog thing, but it was basically like the dog that you lost has picked your new dog for you, essentially.
Yeah. Hell on wheels.
Yeah.
Thanks. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Beethoven. Air Bud.
Oh, that's fun. Those are fun movies.
The Secret Life of Pets. Scoob.
See, these are good.
And How to Train Your Dragon are some of the possibilities.
Okay. I thought it was
of movies that you'll be watching.
Dying.
ESA Doctors is the organization. You can Google them if you want to find out more.
Like a dog's purpose and Marley
I'm not watching Marley again. Did it once,
dirty.
never doing that again.
Dogs.
Never doing
Marley.
that again. Never. Never, ever.
A Dog's Purpose. Have you seen? Ugh.
Can't watch those movies with other people
That's what
because
I'm saying.
I legit can't handle it. Just cannot. I completely fall apart. Not good.
Old Yeller.
That one never got to me too much. You don't
It didn't?
see it, right? You don't see the dog dying. Is that it with Yeller? Didn't the dog just
So
sort
that
of
one
wander?
didn't make you sad?
Didn't the dog just wander off at the end? And he didn't know, right? He sort of assumed the dog died.
But Marley and me can't.
Oh God. I think I have PTSD from watching that movie. Like I don't think about it often, but when it comes up, I'm just like, visceral. The emotional reaction I had to that movie. Metallica in a couple minutes. Get back to the sports. We got an interesting story about a Olympic snowboarder.
'Tis the season, I would imagine.
Getting in some last runs.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out more about that in a few minutes. Right now, it's Bad Guy.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. That, of course, King Nothing from Metallica. Doc's going to join us a bit later on, about an hour from now. Talk racing. Get to bad news, happy music as well. If you need something, rockmornings.com. Talking about dogs escaping. Got a text from Corbin who said, better than the farmer just outside of Madison yesterday who had 2 calves escape from the trailer in the middle of I-90.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh.
We were coming home from Rockfest one time, and we were out by the town of Holland just before it turns into the highway there. And as we were getting close to that interchange from the, Highway 53 to the highway itself.
This is daytime, nighttime?
This is afternoon, so, coming home
Light
from
out.
Rockfest, still light out. There was a guy pulled over with a horse trailer, and there was like 4 horses running wild in the corn in the fields all over. And I was like, what the hell is going on over here?
That is a bad day.
Well, and the wife's like, should we help? I'm like, help what? I'm like, what am I going to do, run after a horse?
So that was like one of the worst feelings of growing up on a farm. I can remember a half a dozen times probably, and from when I was a little kid until I moved out, where we either got the call or my brother drove up with the truck or whatever.
Maybe saw your horse over here?
No, the cows would get out.
Oh.
Some fencing would be down,
Yeah.
or some electric fence would be working or whatever, and the cows are out. I mean, it's like, and the whole family's like, it's game on, and you're running down whatever field road or street or driving or trying to, and you're all trying to get them to go one direction. The cows are out was the worst. The worst.
Did you have a dog for that? Like a...
No. I mean, we had farm dogs, but it wasn't like the ones that you see that do the amazing thing where they go out in the field and bring the 300 sheep through a corral. No, it wasn't like that. It was more like panic, complete panic.
Former NFL cornerback Adam Pac-Man Jones, previously very outspoken advocate for cannabis, even revealing last year that he smoked marijuana before playing in games in the NFL. Now, in a new interview that aired earlier this week, he comes clean about how he concealed his marijuana use to avoid getting in trouble under the NFL substance abuse policy. He said he never used his own pee in league drug tests. Quote, I cheated the program.
What?
This is on Deion Sanders' weekly...
The whole time?
Deion Sanders' weekly show on Tubi called We Got Time Today. He said, I was really good. People don't know how smart I am, but, I can say it now. I don't play no more, but, I've never used my pee for a pee test. Not one time. Not one time. So this guy was strapping it to his, someone else's pee to his inner thigh and going in there. But Pac-Man Jones apparently smoking the whole time he was playing and using somebody else's pee.
Wow.
Admitting
That's
it on
some revelations to share with everyone, isn't it?
Deion Sanders. Well, there was the Wizinator, too. Remember that?
Yes, I
the
do.
Vikings player? He had a fake penis with, urine in it. It's because I think in some of those they watch you, right? They make sure you're not doing anything.
That's wild.
Untowards, but elsewhere in sports, there is a $10 million reward for information leading to the arrest of a former Olympic snowboarder from Canada.
Oh, my God.
Who is wanted for allegedly running a multinational drug trafficking network and orchestrating multiple murders related to the drug ring.
This is the best sports you've had in a long time. What are you talking about? This guy is a professional snowboarder and side hustle as a drug dealer?
Well, I think his main hustle now is a drug dealer. 43-year-old Ryan Wedding now added to the FBI's most wanted list yesterday. FBI also announcing the U.S. State Department's $10 million offer, saying, quote, Wedding went from shredding powder on the slopes of the Olympics to distributing powder, cocaine, on the streets of U.S. cities in his native Canada. The alleged murders of his competitors make Wedding a very dangerous man. Among his aliases, according to the FBI, are El Jefe, Public Enemy, and James Conrad King. And now the FBI is looking to pay somebody $10 million for information leading to the arrest of El Jefe, the former Olympic snowboarder for Canada.
So Olympian to drug kingpin?
Let's say you're an Olympic level snowboarder. You're going to be traveling all over the world.
I know, but...
You're going to be meeting all sorts of people. You have influence. You have clouts. You're going to the right parties. This guy's
not just selling drugs, apparently.
No, he's a kingpin. And he's
hiring people to kill people and murdering people and sitting in cars of driveways.
Well, they don't put a $10 million bounty on your head if you're not doing some effed up stuff. You know, if the FBI is looking for me, it'd be $5. So we need $5 for the whereabouts of Brian Simpson. This guy, $10 million.
Olympian turned drug lord.
Right?
Wow.
Crazy. And not just, like, also on the FBI most wanted list. Like, more than the drug lord and the murders. Like, a lot of people do that stuff. But 10 most wanted? I mean, you're talking Osama bin Laden stuff.
Shipping hundreds of kilograms of cocaine and killing people.
Yeah. El Jefe.
That is crazy stuff.
It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Next hour, we'll talk racing with Doc. We got Poppy in just a couple of minutes. If you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com. Make sure you sign up for date night. Your chance to win pizza and movie passes. We'll pick 2 winners, and we'll do that later on this morning.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is Ozzy and Billy Morrison, gods of rock and roll. Sad that July 5th, that'll be it. That's it. I think that might be the last time we maybe hear from Ozzy.
Yeah, I was just...
the big final Black Sabbath show.
I don't know if you saw, but apparently he has all the feels about this final stage performance. And
well, he's been doing it for 60 years.
Yes, and has got
like,
a lot of feels.
I bet. As we mentioned earlier, today is National Employee Appreciation Day, along with National Friday Fish Fry Day. Sunday is National Dishwasher Day.
I started as that. Is that your first I mean, other than
no, the actual dishwasher.
Oh, not like a job?
No. Okay. But I think anybody who works in a restaurant usually starts out as a dishwasher.
This is my first job outside of babysitting.
Yeah, and then prep cook, and then eventually, like...
It's not fun.
Yeah. I didn't mind it. It's a mindless job. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fun. There's so much pressure. There's a lot of dishes coming in all the time.
It's very dirty.
And it's a lot of funk and nastiness. And
yeah.
But in terms of, like, having to think... I worked in a restaurant, too, where we just had the one dishwasher thing that comes down and it was in the corner. Mm-hmm. So the dishes come this way, they go all in, and then the thing comes down and it comes out this side, and then blah, 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 and the stack is right here. Mm-hmm. So it was very self-contained, very small kitchen.
Small restaurant, small town that I grew up in. But Friday night, dude, the pressure was on.
I implore anyone with children to make them work in a restaurant at least once for 6 months, a year, whatever it is. Understand what goes on. Customer service. Mostly a restaurant. Like, to really understand, like, the ins and outs of a restaurant and the business and what happens in there and all the things that can go wrong and how awful it can be. And maybe a little bit of that will stick with you for the rest of your life. And when you go into a restaurant and things are crazy and you're not having a good night and service maybe not up to snuff,
you might understand.
You might have a little bit more empathy, a little understanding. Dishwasher. The first dishwasher patented 175 years ago in 1850. It was a hand crank dishwasher at the time, no motor. Most modern dishwashers didn't come around until the 70s. And here's a list of things you shouldn't put in your dishwasher.
Oh.
You got a Rolly one, right? You're like the only person left in America with one that isn't.
I do, and it's so funny.
Mounted under the cabinets?
So I have a roll-away dishwasher because I would have to remodel our whole kitchen to put one in because
we had one of those when I was like 4, and I remember it vividly because my mom hated it, and you'd have to take it over to the sink and hook it up, and then one time the thing disconnected and there was water all over the kitchen.
And I have to switch I have to take the little adapter off the faucet because one of them has to be when I'm hooking the dishwasher up, and one of them is just for regular. But I would have
Back in my day, we didn't have electricity.
I'd have to remodel my whole kitchen. Like, they built up the floor. They put so many of them that I wouldn't be able to get one under the cabinet unless we remodeled the whole kitchen. So
what about one of those, like, countertop dishwashers, the little ones that plug in?
Dude, I'd rather have a roll away. But you should see my kids' friends' faces when they come over. And it's in the
They don't even know, what are you doing? You just take it out in the middle, you start wheeling it around. They're like, what the hell are you doing?
Literally.
Some things you shouldn't put in your dishwasher and hand wash these instead. Wooden utensils. The heat can cause them to warp, crack over time. Yeah. Not to mention all the water seeping into the wood. It's not good for it. Cast iron pans. You should never wash a cast iron pan. Wipe it down, rinse it off. You got to leave that flavor on there, right? Cast iron pans. Insulated mugs. Some are dishwasher safe, but not all. Check the bottom. Make sure it is. Some of them, the water can get inside and affect the insulation. Then you're in big trouble. Crystal glassware, scratch is easy. It can get cloudy from the heat as well. Non-stick cookware. It's a good way to ruin the non-stick coating. Just throwing it in the dishwasher.
That's a good one to know about.
So, like, if you've got pans,
pans or whatever.
cookie pans, or maybe the meatloaf pan or whatever it is. Copper mugs, pots, and pans. Dishwashers dull the copper shine, so don't throw them in there.
Dishes are done, man.
Dishes are done, man. Gold-plated silverware. Who the hell's got gold-plated silverware?
The people with the crystal glasses.
It's a lot more delicate than stainless steel. Cheese graters. This is kind of interesting.
Why?
They're a pain to wash, so it's tempting, but it can rust the curved edges over time. Use a soft, bristled brush.
Plus, I don't think it gets the,
Well, yeah, a lot of times it can't get into some of those, especially the star side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the side where you get the
big chunks.
Pressure cooker lids. The detergent and heat can cause the seals and valves to damage. And plastic containers. Unless they are dishwasher safe, they can warp. And, dude, I don't care what you say. All the plastic goes in there. All of it.
Say, who cares?
That's leach chemicals, fine. I'm not washing anything by hand. Nope.
Then it's going in the garbage.
What we really need is we need to figure out how we can get plastic Tupperware to not get stained by spaghetti and red sauce.
You can get that out.
Yeah, but I don't want to work that hard. Why can't they figure out a way for it not to get stained?
Well, because it does. I don't know what to tell you about that. That's because
it's annoying.
Well, yeah.
It's 2025. We're putting people on Mars. All right, let's figure out let's figure out the Tupperware here.
I'm never not putting it in the dishwasher.
It would be nice if you said thank you and helped me with the dishes.
Fine. I'll help you do the dishes.
Oh, come on. You know what? No, that's not what I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes? Rob at the beer shop in Sparta said, we have a rollaway too for the same reasons, lack of space.
Well, mine won't fit. I have to literally rip up the floors in order to get this under the cabinet to figure it out. And so it's not just purchasing one and putting it in. It's not that.
Our friend Courtney at the Hungry Peddler, which is going to be doing some renovating.
Speaking of remodels,
said the people that are dishwashers at the Peddler are so important. Without them, nothing would work.
I agree. That's a hard job at a restaurant.
Honestly, like I've thought about just going back and being a dishwasher, just like mindless, collect the check, don't have to think. It's just, man.
A lot of wet shoes, a lot of wet.
Fine, but your hands get so raisiny. You know what I mean? After time, it's just like.
But that pressure is on a Friday night or a Saturday night.
I know.
Whatever, Sunday if you're doing breakfast and you can't.
I feel like the disrespect from the wait staff when they come in with the tubs and they just throw them there. And you try to have a system, you know what I mean, as a dishwasher. Like you're piling up the plates in size and in order of the way you're going to wash them. And they're just, and again, working in a restaurant, you understand why, but it still doesn't change the fact that you hate their guts.
Thanks.
You hate their guts and you're like, have a little more concern for me.
Appreciate that, Julie. Thanks.
I'll just walk out of here. God.
Need more plates, more plates.
Yeah.
Run of forks.
Wayne. I'll never forget him for the rest of my life. One of the most interesting people I've ever met, our dishwasher at Michael Timothy's so many years ago, eating food off of people's plates.
Oh.
It was so weird. We were a high-end, like, bistro, so we didn't serve slop. But at the same time,
that's gross.
At the same time, it would.
Wasn't there something like more like a salad bar or some crackers or something?
He didn't take it even home. But if like a shrimp came back on someone's plate, he would gobble it up. Yeah. And he would get like you couldn't get him to do anything other than the task he was doing. Like Mike, the owner of the restaurant, Michael Timothy, would tell him to go downstairs and, you get these crates of beans.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in the wooden crate, and you'd have to pick the ends off to make, to do the beans. And if Wayne was doing that and you asked him for nope, can't do it, picking beans. Can't do it. I got to pick beans. He just would not.
One task guy.
That was it. That was all he would do, was do the one thing. Nope, splitting wood, can't help you. Got to split wood because we have wood-fired pizzas. No, Mike told me to split the wood. Can't help you. Yeah.
Dishwashers, appreciate them, I guess.
Yeah. You can, and the best part, too, is you get like a teenager that would come in first job and they'd be super nervous and they'd be afraid of breaking dishes and, and like everything's so loud and frenetic and crazy in a kitchen. And you'd be like, hey, go downstairs and get me a bucket of steam, quick. And they would go downstairs and they'd come back up. Where do you keep the steam? What? I need a left-handed spatula. One of those, just messing with dishwashers, man. It's good times. We had Spanish dishwashers, too, guys who didn't really know the language. It was always one of them that knew the language, could speak English, and then his buddy would come in and
shenanigans on his friend.
No, and we would always teach him bad words and, bad English words, and then they'd you're bad, you're very bad. Like, yeah, good times. Very good times. National Dishwasher Day on Sunday. Jean in a Rolly dishwasher.
Yeah, I'm dreading the day they don't make them anymore.
Maybe you guys could pre-purchase.
We just got one.
Okay. Can you pre-purchase one? Like get one on
store it in the garage.
Yeah,
until
just
we
buy another one and keep it for a backup.
I know. We replaced the one that we've had two ones since we moved into the house.
All right.
Oh.
Static X now, push it.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Static X and Push It. Go figure, you talk about working in restaurants, dishwashers. A lot of people start coming out of the woodwork with comments and stories.
Yeah, everybody's had those jobs.
Yeah. I'll let this person remain anonymous. Back in my dishwasher days, we would get so hungry that we would sometimes eat the leftovers untouched on plates instead of throwing it away. Loved eating fish, LOL. We never touched half-eaten food. That's gross. I will say that years later, with the benefit of hindsight, and you think of all the food that gets thrown away in a restaurant, and it's daunting to think about it because that could be used for homeless people, unsheltered, whatever you want to call them.
Yes.
I mean, even the people that work at the restaurant. Granted, like, the food that doesn't get served gets put away, reused.
Yes.
And if it eventually is not going to get served anymore, then they allow the staff to take some of it home.
That's what I'm going to say.
But you think of all that food that comes back after it's been out of the kitchen, and it's like, And I'm not some like bleeding heart liberal, like we got to use all the trash food to feed the trash people outside type person. But like, you just have the benefit of looking at it and saying,
I think like the basket of rolls, where one of them's, and
right, where they reach their hand in and touch one of them, and they just all get tossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not eating fish off a plate, probably. No.
Travis texting in saying, I started as a dishwasher and I effing hated the wait staff. Patrice. Oh, I always had a thing for Patrice. Whether it was working on the pantry and coming in early with her stupid tickets or throwing the dishes around. Somebody else texted in and said, very disrespected by the rest of the staff. Unfortunately, a little appreciation goes a long way.
I was like 15, so I don't even know if I remember if I was disrespected. Yeah. I just remember thinking that it was a lot of pressure and hard work. And
yeah, I think, servers and the staff in the kitchen don't think about dishwashers and how important they can be to the operation of the restaurant. You take that piece away and somebody's either got to go over there and wash dishes in the middle of their shift, or you're not going to have any clean dishes. And that's a whole nother problem. Yeah. Wayne. Nope. Can't do it. Picking beans. Yeah, also, if you're like, I don't know, if you're 20 years old and you're living on your own and you're working in a kitchen and some food comes back and you can live off of that, you know what I mean? Instead of having to buy groceries occasionally because you can't afford them. You're trying to buy beer and pay your rent.
Because I went from dishwasher to eventually a waitress at a different restaurant in my hometown. And
God, I would love to see you wait a table.
Oh, dude.
I'd love to watch it. I bet it's a disaster.
It was not a disaster.
Gene, what does this say? What is this? Is this a hamburger or is this a steak? What word is this?
I don't think my writing was as bad back then. I don't think it was as bad.
Fire 2 fillet of fish. What? We don't serve that here, Gene.
Leftovers at the end of the night. You know,
course,
it was,
of course. Yeah, because you write the wrong order and they cook the wrong thing.
Oh.
All right. Stone Sour in a bit, and Doc will join us to talk racing.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m.
Stone Sour through glass. Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Our friend Mark texted me and said, "You're hired."
I figured.
I said, "How much?" He said, "You can't really put a price on working with me."
Which means...
Also, I keep a real loose count on the bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon don't pay my bills. We'll talk. Happy birthday to Brandon T. Jackson. He's 41. You know him best as Al Pacino in Tropic Thunder.
What's the name?
Lance.
Listen here, Lance. Lance. What the f*** did I just hear, Lance?
Did you say Lance? No.
I said Nance.
That sounded like Lance.
No, I said Nance. That's what I said, Nance.
It sounded like Lance.
Look, I'm Al Pacino, okay? I love the
Booty sweat. Brandon T. Jackson, 41. Laura Prepon is 45. Donna from That 70s Show.
Okay, that helps.
Hello, Wisconsin. The lead singer of Tantric, Hugo Ferreira, is 51 today. Also turning 51 is Jenna Fisher. She was Pam on The Office. Still haven't watched any of those. I don't think I've sat down and watched a full episode of The Office ever. I've seen bits and pieces, clips here and there, but I don't think I've ever watched a full episode. Rachel Weisz is 55. She played Evie in the Mummy movies. Wanda Sykes turning 61 today.
Take this on us.
Oh, no. I'm not eating something that was cooked by some cracker-ass hate monger.
I will. Baby, you can't taste racism.
Baby, you can't taste racism. Wanda Sykes, the comedian, 61. Taylor Dane, 63. Tell it to my heart.
Uh-huh.
Tell me from the start. Bryan Cranston, 69. Walter White on Breaking Bad. Lynn Swann, 73 today. NFL Hall of Famer.
I'm with Vicky Valancourt, who's taking over Bobby Boucher's water duties for this important game.
Oh, I'm not taking over. I'm just trying not to screw up too bad.
Well, let me ask you this. What's your prediction for the rest of this ballgame?
My dogs are going to win 30-27.
That's very interesting. How'd you come up with that guess?
Guess? That ain't no guess. That's what it's going to be.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, be careful down there, Swan.
Be careful down there, Swan. 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers. MVP of Super Bowl 10 back in 1976. Lynn Swann, 73. Peter Wolf, the lead singer of the Jay Giles Band, is 79 today. Jay Giles Band lead singer Peter Wolf, 79 today. And another Pittsburgh Steeler, Hall of Fame Pittsburgh Steeler, is or was born on this day in 1950. He died in 2022. Franco Harris.
Bradshaw trying to get away. And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Franco Harris has it. And he's over. What? Franco Harris.
The Immaculate Reception. That was Franco Harris, who was born on this day in 1950. He also won 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers and was the MVP of Super Bowl 9. The year before Lynn Swann won the MVP at the Super Bowl. March 7th, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for his telephone.
Come away with me, Barnabas.
But I am a simple farmer. My life is here. In the field.
Ahoy, hoy, Alexander Graham Bell here. No, my number is 1. You must want 2. 2, I say.
You can't with that.
I love it. So funny.
Every time you get a chance.
50 years ago today, 1975, David Bowie releasing his 9th album, Young Americans, featuring Fame. Did pretty well, that David Bowie. 1983, TNN, the Nashville network, went on air on this day in 83, 42 years ago. In 2003, it became Spike Television, and then it changed to the Paramount Network in 2018. 1985, We Are the World was released on this day.
You know love is all we need.
After the, the American Music Awards, right? They got everybody together in L.A. because they were there for the American Music Awards, and Bob Dylan somehow showed up and didn't know what the hell he was doing.
And there's a documentary on this song, so I should watch
Lionel. I can't believe you haven't watched it. It's mostly Lionel Richie because it was him and Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones working on putting this thing together, and Bob Geldof. And Lionel Richie talking about Michael Jackson and his snake. I got snakes hidden all over the house, Lionel. It can't be beat. It's so funny. It's so funny. Lionel. 1986, the movie Highlander in theaters.
There can be only one.
You had to cut somebody's head off in order to get the quickening. 89, Milli Vanilli releasing their debut album, Girl, You Know It's True.
Girl, you know it's true.
Won a bunch of Grammys. Had to return the Grammys.
I got to give this back.
Didn't actually sing on the album. Grammys kind of frowned upon that, apparently. I didn't realize how obsessed the Menendez brothers were with Milli Vanilli.
Until you watch that documentary.
Yeah, that documentary really puts them out there. 1997, Howard Stern's Private Parts in theaters.
I'm an ugly man. I know this. You couldn't be physically attracted to me, could you?
Physically, I am.
Oh,
I mean,
Jenna.
You're smart. You're sexy.
Wait, excuse me for 1 minute. Robin.
I didn't say a thing.
Robin, go up to the cafeteria and get some lunch. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me more about
Oh, very naked Jenna Jameson. Private Parts in theaters. WNBC. WNBC. 2000. A couple of albums coming out on the same day. Nickelback releasing their second studio album, The State, featuring Leader of Men, which is a jam. And Disturbed dropped their debut album, The Sickness, on this day in 2000.
Dude, our coworker
Out on the tour.
just went to Milwaukee, the Pfizer, on Wednesday night.
Wheeling
and
them
so it
out,
was-
just like the Sickness tour and the Hannibal Lecter. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the sweatshirt. And
Yeah, Disturbed's debut album, The Sickness, came out on this day in 2000. And they're on their 25th anniversary tour right now.
play Minneapolis last night, I think.
And last but not least, March 7th, 2016, Peyton Manning announced his retirement from the NFL. Took his big-ass forehead with him. Big old Peyton Manning forehead.
Back to your Office comment. Did you
Yeah.
see Steve Carell and his donation? Alice's Kids is the organization, and he's donating $175,000 to send 800 students to their prom.
Oh, really?
From the schools that were affected by the LA wildfires.
That's awesome.
And this blew my mind when I was reading about this because it's over 800 kids getting to go to prom. And I'm like thinking about our prom, right? I think it's $5 or $10 to go to prom here.
To buy the ticket?
These prom tickets on these schools that he's buying the tickets for, because I'm like, wow, what a noble gesture. It's saving those
Right,
families
but it's a
$5.
couple $100, yeah.
It's $80 to $130 a prom ticket for these kids in California. That's crazy.
That's California for you.
So if it's $130, yeah, that's a big deal. That's just the ticket to go to the prom, mind you. That's
Doesn't
not the
include the
dress,
dress
and
and
the
all
food and the
that.
thing and the stuff and whatever. So he's buying those tickets, $175,000 worth of prom tickets.
Birthdays and pop culture stuff. We'll get to Doc's Racing Report next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
8:15-ish on Friday mornings during the NASCAR season. We're joined by the Mid-Pack legend, Mr. Technicality, Car 54, Billy Doc Niles, a.k.a. Captain Retirement, a.k.a. hashtag Mr. Fister, a.k.a. hashtag this guy.
Happy July.
Happy 4th of July. It's just a couple of months away. Work on it. Hashtag this guy.
I'm kind of anal.
That's what all the guys at the campground say. Hashtag this guy.
You're getting a thrill by listening to Bill.
Are you? Hashtag this guy.
He's got it locked on the rock. He's listening to the dock.
Hashtag this guy.
He gets to stay on the box.
Yes, he does. Hashtag this guy.
Going to have to come from the back.
That's the only way to come. Hashtag this guy.
Going to be a big one for them.
That's what she said. Hashtag this guy.
He could be coming from your backyard.
The only way to come. Hashtag this guy.
A lot of beating and banging.
Sounds like a good weekend at Doc's house. Hashtag this guy.
Nothing says you can't slip one in without saying anything.
Oh, Mrs. Doc, look out. The sneaky Pete. Hashtag this guy.
Whoa, what am I touching here?
Whoa, what are you touching there, Doc?
I am scratching my head wondering why the hell I came back from Florida. It was so nice there, like, about 70, 80 degrees when I talked to you guys at this time last week. I get off the plane Saturday afternoon, Minneapolis, 19 degrees.
Well, have no fear. It's supposed to be in like the mid-60s on Monday and Tuesday, so it's turning around.
Yeah, can't wait. Hey, before we get started, a couple shout-outs. First of all, Shorty and Diker, thank you for all your hospitality last weekend. It was amazing. We had a great time. Dan and Julie, you do a great job. Anybody, if you get a chance, get a hold of Diker. You want a place to stay for a week, phenomenal Airbnb that he's managing down there. And also, if you drive by Badger Corrugating, you see that big monstrosity going up next to the main building. Shout out to Christian Conley and the guys at Borton Construction doing a great job trying to get that bad boy done for us before the summer season starts. So great job by them guys getting that together.
What's going on with racing this weekend?
Well, let's first of all,
big
Brian
fine?
talked about it.
Yeah,
Brian talked about it last hour. Austin Cindric docked 50 points and fined $50,000 for right hooking Ty Dillon. Now, normally we talked about this like 2 years ago. You saw Bubba Wallace right hook Kyle Larson on one of the cookie cutters, send him hard into the wall. They sat him down for a week or two. Last year, you saw Austin Dillon do that to Denny Hamlin going for a win, and they fined him and they took away his chase spot. When they looked at this violation last week, it was coming off a corner on a road course. They were just starting to pick up speed, so it wasn't as fast as it normally would be on, like, say, a cookie cutter. And he just turned him and barely put him into the wall. Not a lot of damage. Dillon was able to continue. That's the reason why they're not sitting him down for a week and why the fine is not bigger. So, kudos to NASCAR for actually thinking about that one. Speaking of NASCAR and their fines, Chase Briscoe and JGR, they appealed their fine and suspension and points docking for the Daytona 500. You remember we talked about this where they said they improperly elongated the holes on the spoiler. They took it to the National Appeal Panel. The National Appeals Panel has overturned NASCAR's decision. So the fine has been cut in half. The suspension for the crew chief just stays at 2 weeks. He will be back. He will be back on the box this week. There's another one for you, buddy. And the 100 points has been given back to Briscoe. So now he goes from last in points all the way up to 14th in points. So sometimes, appealing NASCAR's decision does pay off. They're at Phoenix this week. It's a 1 mile track, 1 mile kind of a dog leg in the front stretch. You remember about 4 years ago, they flipped this track so that you got like 11 degrees banking in turns 3 and 4 and 9 degrees banking in turns 1 and 2. And the start finish line now is just coming off of turn 2. Christopher Bell won this race last year. Joey Logano won the race to win the championship last year. Qualifying record was set by Jimmy Johnson in 2015 at 146.3 miles an hour. Excuse me, fantasy experts, well, why not Bell? Because he's hot. He's won 2 in a row, and this is a race that he won last year. Also, Byron, who's been on fire the first 3 weeks, and Larson, he's good everywhere he goes. When I filled mine out last night, Blaney, Reddick, Logano, and Hamlin are some names you got to look at when it comes to racing on this type of track. CBSSports.com brings us our odds this week. Bell at plus 500, Blaney at 600, Larson 650, Byron 800, Logano 850, Hamlin and Elliott at plus 1,000. Teams competing at Red Cedar Speedway this season. We're only 3 weeks away from the big car show at the Expo Center, so we're going to give you more details because that's going to be a big weekend. They're going to have lots of games, and it's going to be highlighted by the 2024 season awards. I'm waiting for the new PR director. That's right, Brett Creasher, no longer the PR director there. He's moved up to a Cedar Lake Speedway. So we're going to be talking to a new PR director, waiting to find out who this year's Hall of Fame enshrinee is going to be. La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway made some announcements this week. The 2025 Superfan Punch Card is now available for purchase. For $160, the Punch Card gives you 12 admissions to regular season races at the Speedway. Some races are exempt from this, like the Tom Repker race, the Night of Destruction, stuff like that. Check the Speedway website for details. Also, the Speedway released a 2025 rules packages for all divisions across the board. That is now available on the website. And they also announced that Saturday, April 26th will be the tire sale and registration day. We'll give you more details on that when that comes up. Doc's smoker calendar, I could only find one for tomorrow. Gordon Racing, Travis Gordon Racing Sportsman Class at La Crosse at Feature Sports Bar and Grill in West Salem. Gun raffles, baskets, silent auction, tip boards, door prizes, and oh, so much more. Good Times Entertainment providing the music and DJ tomorrow. That party starts at 4 p.m. And remember, race teams, wherever you're racing, if you're having a party or a fundraiser to help your 2025 season out, get to the Midwest Racing Smoker page on Facebook. Get all your details on there, and I'll give it a shout-out the Friday before your party. And remember, during smoker season, folks, get out and support a great local short track team. Doc's Race Report has been brought to you by our friends at County Materials on Empire Street in Holman. That is this week's Race Report.
The DOC joining us each and every Friday during NASCAR season at about 8:15, letting us know what's going on. Always a pleasure. And find that smoker calendar on Facebook and let Doc know if you've got a smoker coming up so we can tell people about it. Tip boards, 50-50s, gun raffles.
Good old-fashioned Wisconsin fun.
Can't go wrong with that. We've got bad news, happy music coming up in just a bit, so don't go anywhere.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
How big was Henry when he came out?
Under 6 pounds. 5'11".
Under 6. Grace?
Grace was almost 8. And Ella was under 6 as well. They were relatively smaller babies.
Smaller normal?
babies.
What's
they were
normal,
born
like
early
somewhere
too.
around 9, 10?
8 and a half.
9, 10,
7, 8, 9, somewhere. Anything bigger than that's a big baby, though.
So 13 would be big?
That's a big baby.
Woman
Yes,
in
that's
Alabama shocked
Ugh.
after she gave birth to a baby girl twice the size of an average newborn.
Hail to the king, baby.
How did they not know it was that big?
Pamela Mann, a delivery driver living in a small town southeast of Birmingham, Alabama, welcomed her daughter Paris Halo to the world during a scheduled C-section at the Alabama Grandview Medical Center.
Yeah, I bet a C-section.
Brief scare in the delivery room. Doctor pulls her out of me, and all the nurses are like, oh, God. I started freaking out because I had no idea what was happening. The reaction was not because there was something wrong with the baby, just that it was
so
massive. 13-pounder. Man's newborn, Paris Halo, weighed a whopping 13 pounds and 4 ounces when she was born.
Dude, that's giant. That's I can't believe they couldn't tell that, like, by measuring her and looking
The
at all
31-year-old mother believed that the baby weighed the standard size for a newborn. Average birth weight for a full-term human baby is 7 pounds. That's the average. 4 weeks before the girl was born, the doctor measured the wife
Yes,
or the
that's
woman.
what I'm saying.
This is 4 weeks, a month before the kid came out. The doctor measured the baby at 8 pounds, but a technician said she weighed 10 pounds. Come to find out, she was way over what both of them were saying.
Well, they do gain a lot of weight in the last month or so, but yeah, they should have known it was a very large
Apparently, nurses in the hospital are making special trips to the, what is that, the birth, what's the birth place called?
Nursery?
Is it called the nursery? What's it? It's got a special...
Labor and delivery?
Yeah, whatever that section is of the hospital to get a
to
actually see this baby.
Look at her. Look how big she is. Those wouldn't fit a newborn diapers.
By the way, the baby is a preemie. Arrived 16 days before the scheduled due date. So imagine how big that bowling ball would have been if it had stayed there for
another 2 weeks.
Peak fermentation.
Is it me, or was that the ugliest baby
Not ugly.
have ever seen?
Just big.
The baby arriving 16 days before the scheduled due date. She skipped many clothing sizes, is already wearing clothing made for a 6-month-old.
I was going to say that no newborn diapers, even 0 to 3 months, probably not a thing.
The family has already jumped on giving the girl nicknames like Pork Chop Big Mama.
Oh, don't do that. She'll even out. It won't be a thing.
The woman, the mother, is in good spirits, added that even though the daughter is in the NICU, she's doing great. Well, yeah, she's fully grown. How could she not be doing great? According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the heaviest baby on record weighed 22 pounds, which was born in Italy back in 1955. That's a toddler. That's a toddler. You give birth to a toddler.
That doesn't even seem right. 22 pounds.
Must have been some kind of mutation or something.
It had to.
Or maybe
that's crazy.
Maybe it was like a conjoined twin.
35-pound 5-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard.
My dog weighs 26 pounds right now.
Give birth to that.
Yeah. Have you seen the Pokemon fight?
No, I saw a hot Cheeto that was selling for a lot of money that looked like a Pokemon.
Wasn't that like 18 grand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you squint, you could tell maybe it was like a Charizard, but
dumb.
No, this is 2 grown-ass men.
Dressed up?
No. At the restocking of a Pokemon vending machine. And fighting each other over who was first in line.
To get a deck of
I can't believe you haven't seen it. This thing's gone super viral. Everybody's watching this thing. This is a 10 a.m. restock of a Pokemon card machine that led to some aggressive pushing and shouting between 2 men inside a store. The video's since gone viral on TikTok and all over social media. March 5th, so what was that, Wednesday? TikTok content creator Yak9 Official
was like just walking into the store and
posted
saw
the
it?
video clip that he claims shows him trying to buy Pokemon cards from a card dispensing machine after it had been restocked that morning at an undisclosed store in the San Francisco Bay Area. According to the TikTok guy, the man in the video wearing a black hoodie, baseball hat, and white pants was waiting in his car for the restock and then tried to push past the TikTok dude to access the Pokemon vending machine. The 2 men then pushed and shoved each other, as you can see in the viral video.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Video recorded by somebody else in the store and then shared by Yak9 Official. In a follow-up video, you can hear the man yelling at what appears to be a store employee who explains they reviewed footage before being cut off by the aggressive man in the white pants. He claimed being in his car was in line.
Oh.
Cops came and got him, and he fell out pretending to be hurt. They asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I said no. Go figure. The guy that
being in your
that initiated it is an Eagles fan wearing an Eagles hoodie. What a douche!
On.
And then when the cops showed up, I'm having a heart attack. I can't stand up. Number one, waiting in your car is not waiting in line unless the store isn't open yet. And then it's kind of all bets off. Like it's your job if you're that like worried about being first in line and you see other cars show up in the lot before the store opens, it's your job to get out of your car before everybody else and be first in line at the store.
I was just going to say that because I waited at Costco with Ella because I thought it opened earlier than it did, and we were sitting in the parking lot and people kept pulling in and they were waiting in their cars, and finally it was like one lady got out and then everybody got
out. And everybody,
but she was first in line at the store, right? Because she got first in line, then we got in line. Waiting in your car is not first in line.
No. Same thing happened to us when we got our new phones. Went over there and we pulled in and there was already somebody in a car waiting.
They weren't
The store opened at like 10 and I got out of the car at 9:55 and I went over and the door was already open. Like they must opened it earlier. So we walked right in and we were first. But it's my job to go into the store first. And that makes you first in line. Waiting in your car has nothing to do with the line.
So...
Oh, yeah.
These guys are they sell Poke. So they're looking for...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're not there just to have a good time. They're there to collect and sell and make money. This is a job for
Dude,
them.
wear real pants and get out of the way. You're not first.
I'm not shocked to say that the guy's an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Not shocked
Funny.
at all. She was screaming and banging on the cockpit. A Southwest flight bound for Phoenix on Monday afternoon failed to make it very far from the gate at Hobby Airport in Houston, Texas, because passengers say that a woman suddenly got up and got naked.
Oh, I saw this.
She turned towards us and stripped all of her clothes off.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
No. Yes. I have been in a locker room at a gym.
You usually don't see him like walking down a aisle in a plane, though.
But I've never seen a woman get butt-ass naked on a Southwest Airlines flight.
She turned around facing us and stripped all of her clothes off. She then proceeded to make her way back towards the front of the plane and started banging on the cockpit doors, asking to be let in, and she was screaming. When it first happened, it was really scary.
Removing all of her clothing from her hat to her shoes before then walking up and down the aisle in her birthday suit and demanding to be let out. She then went to the way back of the plane all the way to the front, started banging on the cockpit door, asking to be let in. She was screaming. Apparently she was screaming, let me out, over and over again. According to the FAA, unruly passenger incidents that airline crews report to the agency have leveled off since a dramatic spike in 2021, but still exceeding 2,000 incidents last year. Southwest offering a statement after the incident saying, quote, local law enforcement met Flight 733 from Houston to Phoenix Monday afternoon after it returned to the gate because of a customer situation on board. We apologize to our customers for the delay in their travels and appreciate their patience as our teams worked to get them to their destinations as quickly as possible. The police department said no charges were filed and passengers were transported. Passenger was transported for medical evaluation. Having a mental breakdown or something. Ugh.
Yeah.
Never flying again.
Let me out of my clothes and this airplane. And
it's too bad they weren't still at the gate. If they were still at the gate, he'd just open the door and be like, all right, now you're the airport's problem. See ya. Yes. We got to go.
We are letting you out, as a matter of fact. You can get out right here.
Probably can't do that, huh?
No, not midair, probably.
Hashtag Florida woman.
Yep.
Charged with domestic battery for allegedly throwing a watermelon at her boyfriend who dodged the fruit.
Like a whole watermelon?
Yeah.
It's kind of impressive. I mean, if she threw it so high and so far and hard that he had to actually dodge it, that's quite a toss.
During a verbal confrontation on Sunday evening, Shelley Hardwick allegedly picked up a whole watermelon and threw it in the direction of the victim. The 56-year-old man quickly moved out of the way, Matrix style, of the incoming watermelon.
Ninja.
Is it really that hard to duck a watermelon?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, maybe one of them little bowling ball ones.
It's not coming at you that fast, is it?
But you get a big-ass watermelon, you got to pick it up, you got to throw it.
And then
it's probably not a lot of speed.
And
you see it coming. You know, just one little quick.
You just kind of, do you really dodge it or do you just kind of step to the left?
The weight of the watermelon not disclosed in the arrest affidavit.
Could have been one of the mini
those little ones. Those
mini ones. Then it's more like a softball.
Designer fruits. Hardwick told the cops she threw the watermelon only out of frustration, but denied tossing it in her boyfriend's direction. Upon arrival at the pair's residence, which is a motel in Florida, cops noticed, quote, there was watermelon seeds on the victim's face and clothing. Hardwick was then arrested for domestic battery, a misdemeanor. After spending a night in jail, she was released from custody on her own recognizance.
So are they still together? Is that what happened?
I don't know.
It was a run by fruiting. I'll get them, so don't worry.
It was a fruiting.
A judge has directed Hardwick, who pled not guilty, to have no contact with the victim.
Oh, so they can't see each other.
The judge also ordered Hardwick to be outfitted with an ankle bracelet that monitors alcohol consumption.
That was a lost opportunity because you could put a hole in that watermelon and then
pour some booze in there.
Yeah, pour some booze in there.
You could.
They're knocking on the melons.
Knocking on the melons, Gene.
Or you can take, you can cut up watermelon and then freeze it and then use that in a blender to make like watermelon margaritas in the summertime.
Not a margarita guy.
I know you're not.
Not really my jam. Not really my thing. Bad news with happy music. Last one. Going to New York City. The Big Apple. A detective in the city police department's special victims unit is now under investigation after appearing in a raunchy pole dancing video that has gone viral.
So side hustle?
Sounds like it. Melissa Mercado, who is a 7-year veteran of the New York Police Department, popped up on a music video published by World Hip Hop. It shows a very curvy young lady gyrating and shaking her booty and her body while wearing only a thong and a very skimpy bra.
So wait a minute. Sing it again. Is she successful at her job and she's been doing it for 7 years, and then she's a dancer, a background dancer in a video for a music artist?
I don't know. She's in the background, Gene. She's in the foreground. So are her two big butt cheeks that look like delicious ham stuffed down the back of somebody's pants.
But am I reading this right? She's a dancer for a musician?
Controversial twerking performance is in the Doing That video by a rapper named Esquire. The letter S, a dash, and then Choir. Whose real name is Fabian Winfield. The rapper says in the video, quote, "Want to tell you about a girl named Keisha, ass thick, just want to smash it quick. I like the way she's doing that, the way she's sliding up the pole." Mercado gets paid, by the way, $144,000 a year, is a grade 3 detective assigned to the Bronx Special Victims Unit, joined the force in 2018. Not named in the raunchy video, which has been making the rounds amongst the rank and file, but law enforcement sources confirming that it is her. Some on the force say it's her business, but not the NYPD's. One detective says, quote, "What she's doing really has nothing to do with her as an employee, as a New York City detective."
Right, that's what
she's not wearing any paraphernalia.
So they just
nothing in the video says she's a detective.
They don't like the look of it. Is that what it is?
If she's performing for money, if she has a side gig, the job would want to know about that. Another police source defending the scantily clad officer, saying she had made some good collars and is respected by her peers. Obviously, some people not too happy about it. One retired officer said, "There's a line of thinking that what you do off-duty, you do off-duty. But I think this conduct is unbecoming a police officer. I find it wrong morally if you're a special victims detective." Unclear if any discipline will be coming down for her performance, but obviously not the first, won't be the last time that a police officer has done something on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's OnlyFans or stripping or twerking or videos or whatever, but Esquire.
I wonder if she, like, is friends with this artist, or, like, how
I would assume. I mean, unless she's doing something else where he's like...
Or she's for hire if anybody needs this service.
All I know is I watched the video this morning.
And that was a good start to your Friday?
Well, the music wasn't good.
Mute.
I did. No offense, Mr. Esquire. Not really my jam. But I do appreciate
a good dancer.
All that cheek meat moving around.
Good dancer.
She's clapping them cheeks, Gene.
Mm-hmm. Just a good dancer.
She has skills. It's incredible how they move. One goes up, the other one goes down.
Mm-hmm. That's not easy to do. It is not easy to do.
I think you have to have the equipment before you can make the equipment work. If you're not working with the proper equipment, it's not gonna happen for you. Bad news, happy music. We'll get to our daily check-ins and our date night winners after Dorothy.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello?
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is the website. You can go there and check out all of our daily podcasts. You can listen to the program live. You can sign up to win prizes like date night. That's pizza and movie passes. In Eau Claire, it's Rocky Rococo's and the Micon Cinemas. And in La Crosse, it's Saxon Hall and the Marcus Cinema on Ward F.
Yeah, and Hannah Goss of Menominee is our winner for Eau Claire. So congratulations, Hannah. And then Mark Helmrich in Holman is going to enjoy pizza and movies as well.
Very nice. Congrats, Mark and Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Got a text that this lady strips butt naked, isn't charged with anything. Well, it just happened on Wednesday.
I'm sure she
went to the hospital for a mental health evaluation, so
I'm sure something's happening.
Something will happen.
You can't turn a plane around.
No. The story I just read didn't have a lot of information in it, so relax there, Mr. Guy on the text machine.
I'm sure something will happen, yes.
Relax. Scott texted in and said it's the NICU, pronounced NICU. Is that what I was looking for? Didn't I say that?
You said that. I thought you were asking for labor and delivery and the nursery, and it just, there's
Isn't there some other name for it? The
For the
baby wing
NICU?
or something? What do they call it? The wing, some kind of wing. Is it the birth wing, baby wing? Something.
I'm sure you could call them those things.
All right.
NICU is obviously
that's the
where babies go
preemies,
that are
yeah.
having difficulties.
Cheryl texting in, go Steelers. She was very excited to hear about Lynn Swann and Franco Harris. She said she's been a Steelers fan since her dad
Oh, that's sweet.
went to the Steelers-Cowboys Super Bowl game in the 70s. Ryan said, I worked at a supper club as a busser and dishwasher in high school, and when they made grasshoppers or dessert drinks,
Oh, man.
there was always extra in the mixing cup that would get sent to the kitchen to clean, and I drank most of them all the time.
Well, that isn't in somebody else on a plate or a glass of someone's that you're. That's just in the blender or mixer or whatever. That's fine.
Courtney said our people that are dishwashers at the Peddler are so important. Without them, nothing would work. We were talking about National Dishwasher Day on Sunday and things you shouldn't put in the dishwasher, and had a bunch of people text in about working at restaurants and being a dishwasher. Rob said we have a rollaway too for the same reason, lack of room. He was speaking about at his house, not at his job.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have one too.
Travis says, I started as a dishwasher. I effing hated the waitstaff. Yeah. It's already a thankless, stressful, annoying job that's, demanding.
Cook, chef, wait staff, dishwasher.
Oh, yeah. Always you're at the beginning, at the bottom, all that.
Yeah.
Take out the trash.
Bussers maybe are in the same category if you have people that bus tables.
It's just the disrespect that they come in there with. You know what I mean? Like, you're working hard. You're sweating profusely. Your hands are garbage because of all the water logging that's going on. You're soaked. You're covered in food and your shoes are ruined forever.
Forks, we're out of forks. I need more plates.
You're getting yelled at constantly. And then here comes Patrice
with
a tub, and she just slams it down with absolutely no concern for what's happening. Maternity ward, Michelle Brand. Thank you.
And
That's
you're
what I was
usually one of the last ones out of the
oh,
kitchen
yeah.
because
At the end,
the night
you have to
everybody
wait
else is done.
Well, you
and
have to
they're
wait
leaving.
for all the dishes to come through.
Yes.
Then you have to clean the
Try
dish
them all.
area. Then you have to also probably sweep and mop because that's usually the dishwasher
Yes.
job, and take out trash.
So you're the last one out of there.
Yeah. And then here comes Patrice. Effing Patrice.
Okay, guys, with your judgment.
Chad texted in earlier and said, nothing gets a farmer out of bed faster than hearing the cows are out.
I told you. It was like panic. If my brother would call, because our farm was like, my brother lived on the farm, and we were up the road on a house. And if he would call or drive in the driveway, it was game on. It was like everyone's got their shoe. You're all out. It's running around. Where'd they get out? Where are they going? How are we getting them back in? Where's the break in the fence? Oh.
Ned, earlier, Employee Appreciation Day is today, said he worked at a company where he was salaried, and he must have done the math. Said, 1 year I worked 3 months for free, given the overtime and all. The owner took all of the managers to Vegas as a thank you for a great year. The rest of us got nothing but a kick in the nuts for all of our hard work. A little sore about that one. Yeah, I could see where that would fester over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ned. Thank you, Michelle. Got another text from someone said neonatal.
Okay.
Also, what is she, a cop or a senator? Calm down, folks. She's a cop. Stripper cop.
Detective, actually.
Stripper detective. Could be a new series, new Marvel Cinematic Universe character. And she's not even a stripper. Well, I don't know. Maybe she's doing that too.
She's a dancer.
With her butt cheeks out.
That's a dance. She's good at what she does.
Very good. Yeah. Thanks for all the correspondence. Good to hear from you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.